Everybody, I want you to meet Christos. He is in Malta, and today we are going to
Yes.
take a look at where he is at. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to take a little look at Malta and give you some facts about it. There you go. Can you see that map?
Yep.
Okay, great. So we'll zoom in. We'll flatten that and zoom in.
Yeah. You'll have to zoom in a lot.
Yeah, I know. Tiny little island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. I
Yes.
find this very exciting. I love islands.
A
So I was
small dot
very,
in the
very happy to find
Mediterranean.
it. What's that?
It's a small dot in the Mediterranean.
But I'm sure so beautiful. So you are near Valletta
It's
is
nice.
your capital, which is here, but you are very
Co-
near over here in Iklin.
Correct. Valletta is the capital, and I live in Iklin, which is like in the middle of the island.
Yeah. So there you are. I'm going to give a few facts about Malta.
Yeah, of
So
course.
Malta is an archipelago in the central Mediterranean between Sicily and the North African coast. It has numerous fortresses,
Yep.
megalithic temples, and a subterranean complex of halls and burial chambers dating to around 4000 BC.
Mm-hmm.
Malta used to belong to Britain, but as of 1964, it is now an independent country. And Valletta, Malta's capital, is often known as the first planned European city. It is only 121 square miles, but it has a population of over 500,000 people. It's still the eighth most densely populated country in the world and the fourth in Europe.
Oh, really?
So,
I thought it was the most densely populated country of Europe, but maybe there's. Yeah, it's pretty densely populated for such a small place.
yeah. So, I mean, those are the numbers that I found. If there's more recent numbers, I don't know, but that's still
Mm-hmm.
pretty impressive. You have a huge population for being such a small area.
It makes it seem bigger, the fact that it has so many people, living here.
Yeah, feels bigger. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So, let's go ahead. I want you to just go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself and what kind of activism you might be involved in. What do you do in Malta?
All right. So I'm originally from Greece. I'm 37 years old. I moved to Malta about 4 years ago in July 2017.
Okay.
Um, I became vegan while being here in Malta in July 2018. I think yes. So
Okay.
I will be vegan in July 3 years now. Yeah, I do activism with Anonymous for the Voiceless here. They have a local chapter here in Malta, and I
I
am
have
part of.
actually seen pictures. They're very active. Great chapter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we have a few activists. Like we have small cubes for between 4 to 8 people most of the times, but try to keep it up. Unfortunately, now with the COVID restrictions, we haven't had a cube for a while, for like a month or something, because we're not allowed to have activism events when you need to get a permit for those from the local councils. And now because of the restrictions, they're not giving them out, and they're not allowing more than two people to be out. So it's not a lockdown, but we're affected by it.
But restricted,
uh,
yeah.
yeah. Well, it is what it is. We'll wait a little bit, and then we'll go out and do more things as much as we can. I also do activism, or do other sorts of activism with a local animal rights organization here called the Animal Liberation Malta.
Great.
Um, they do vigils. We go to the local slaughterhouse um, once or twice a month. We also did like a protest called Blood on Your Hands a couple of months ago, which was like with props that had like blood. There were four activists sitting on a table with fake with mock meats and other products that resemble animal products, and they had blood on their hands. So we try to do other stuff. I go out and interview people with another activist from ALM. We call it ALM, Animal Liberation Malta, to try and bring awareness. So we try to be creative and active as much as we can. Apart from the AV, AV has a certain format. It's
Sure.
the cube of truth, and that's it. It's very effective, but we try to do as much as we can, and I try to be part of it. I've been active. I started being active one year into my veganism, because when I first went vegan, I didn't have any vegan friends or any vegan acquaintances, no whatsoever. I thought all vegans only existed on the internet.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So that was a way for me also to meet some, people that are like-minded, because I felt a bit alienated with my old friends and with my family after I went vegan. I wanted to start speaking up for the animals, and once that switch, turns on, you see the world with a different set of eyes. So it's very hard to deal with non-vegans in a sense. So yeah, but
Yeah.
it's been a journey for me, and I have a few vegan friends, a few good vegan friends now.
And
But
how did you find them? How did you find the activist groups? Did you just find them online, or did you find AV
yeah,
online and went from
I
there?
mean, it's a fun story. I I saw a flyer of AV in the only vegan restaurant there is here in Malta, and I asked the owner of the place, where how can I get in touch with them, and she gave me the contact, and then I connected with them on Facebook, and I started joining the cubes, and the rest is history. And then I met with with the other group of people, because they do not interact together. They do not have like events together. ALM and AV, they have like a separate group of activists for unfortunate internal reasons. People always don't get along, even vegans between them.
Yeah.
So, but I participate with both groups though, so I try to be as much as active as I can. I don't have any vegan family members. Like I am separated with my ex-wife, who is not vegan, and my two kids. I have two kids, two boys, 6 years old and 8 years old, that are also not vegan. And
How do you deal with that now? I know that we scheduled this after you had a day with your boys. So,
yeah,
how do you deal with that on your days with them? Do they ask questions about it, or
yeah, they know. Well, um, on the days that I am with them, they're having vegan foods, and they know that I'm not going to buy them foods that are not vegan.
and they understand why?
Yes, yes, they understand why. They understand why, but I don't expect them to go vegan. I would like them to go vegan and understand it, but when, especially for young children, this is a hard concept for some adults to get over, that cognitive dissonance, and how you are able to claim that you love animals and eat them at the same time. So when they see a role model for them, which is their own mother, and other people, most people in this society being not vegan, they're able to justify it in their young minds, that it's okay. I to try to tell them though, and we've had our share of conflicts, and ex with my ex-wife about it, but I've um, I've decided that I'm not going to focus on these specific people, and because your friends and your family sometimes are the ones that resist you the most.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I
Like,
found that. I mean, all around the world, anyone I talk to, that's the hardest part for most vegans is the
yeah,
people closest to us are the hardest to get through to. But
yeah,
your children are young. they live with their mother who's not vegan, and you know,
We have
all
shared
you can
custody, you
do.
know.
What's that?
We have shared custody. I mean, I have them the same amount of time that she has, but
But for them to
they,
go back and forth, right now, all you can do is plant the seeds and let them. Hopefully, by the time where they can make their own decisions, they'll make the right one.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And as I said, you know, they were not raised vegan. I decided to change. I mean, it's a fundamental thing for me now, obviously. Um,
So it's new to
uh,
them as well. So
you know what? My idea how I rationalize this to stop it from affecting me too much, because you know these are the two people that I love the most in the world. So it hurts me when they do that unethical choice. Um, is that they're only two people, you know, even though they're the closest to me. If I go out and I do activism and I affect other people through my activism that I don't know, and I manage to get through to them and turn some of them vegan, I'll have more impact in just focusing and spending my energy and my getting frustrated into exclusively those two, three people, because at the end of the day, they're just two people, you know. I,
sure.
I will be, I can be able to affect a lot of other people that might be open to the message.
Yeah. Well, you plant seeds. You just keep
Yeah,
planting that seed. Hopefully, the seeds are growing.
yeah,
You
yeah, of
know.
course.
So
And
and eventually they'll make the
they,
connection, and as they get older, start to speak up and make those changes on their own.
yeah, yeah. I mean, at
It's
the
all
end
you
of
can
the
hope
day,
for, really. Sometimes with people that close to you, it is frustrating. But I know a lot of vegans deal with that.
if they go vegan, they have to do it because they understand it and they want to go vegan, not because me, like they're because their dad is vegan, right? Anybody who goes vegan has to do it because they understand the concept, not
Yeah,
just. I don't want them to go vegan just to satisfy me or to do
yeah,
it because I'm telling them it's the right thing to do. They have to understand it and do it
yeah. And you're planting the seeds
on their
now,
own.
so that's all you can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where you said you're originally from Greece? What's the
Yes.
culture and food like there and now, and compared to where you are
Malta.
now?
So I come from Athens. That's where I grew up. Unfortunately, you know, there's as with most European countries, there's a heavy meat eating culture there. Even though in Mediterranean countries like Greece, there are a lot of traditionally plant-based vegan dishes in the cuisine. But you know, we have the souvlaki, the moussaka, the pasticcio. You know, there is a lot of meat eating going on, and you know, a lot of dairy, cheeses, feta. Feta is a staple of Greek products, you know, and Greeks are
Yeah,
very proud of it. So, unfortunately, it is still a big speciesist mentality over there, and here as well. They have a lot of meat eating. They have the traditional food here, the traditional dish, which is rabbit. And it's
mm,
very unfortunate.
yeah,
Um, they have you know, they have pastries that they call pasticci that are also like full of sausages and dairy, and you know they have the Italian culture with pizzas and seafood, being an island.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, it's again, there is a lot of animal product consumption. It is what it is. The good thing is for me, because I've been basically, I became a vegan while being here in Malta, right? So I haven't, and I only went back to Greece a few times for vacation. So the 3 years that I've been vegan, I've been here in Malta. I've noticed a lot of new restaurants opening and adding vegan options. I mean, in the 3 years that I've been vegan, I've seen improvement in that department. That there are more options becoming available in the supermarket, more vegan products. it's easier to be vegan now more than ever, I think. So
Yeah, I
basically,
actually, when I was looking up facts about Malta, I actually came about across something that says, first of all, they say the name Malta may have come from the Greek word melite or melite. I don't know how you say that in
yes,
Greeks
yes,
in Greek, um,
Melita,
which would mean honey sweet,
yes,
referring to the country's unique production of honey, thanks to an endemic species of bees found in Malta. I'm reading this now, of course. But this
yeah,
is something else I read. Um, Malta is the only country in the EU that still allows limited springtime hunting on specific species of birds.
yes, they do, and
And
it's a
from what I
restriction.
understand, it's because the during EU accession talks protected the hunter minority, and even though they're a minority, they have a huge political pull.
Yes,
That's very unfortunate.
yeah, and
So
it's a big topic of discussion with the activists here in Malta. So, and
yeah,
we hear the gunshots in the morning. So yeah,
yeah. From what I understand, they are a
depends.
minority, and a lot of people are very disgruntled about it.
Even
But still,
non-vegans,
they
e-
still hold a lot of political power.
yeah, even
Jesus,
even
I
non
mean that's
even non-vegans, I think, are not happy with that shooting down of birds when they're
yeah,
hunting.
especially springtime hunting when you've got the babies.
Yeah, I mean, we are trying to do some. We will definitely do some kind of protest about hunting, but as you said, they have this
Yeah,
political
campaigning.
influence. Yeah, and
Yeah, that's
they
unfortunate. Everybody has their specific, you know, problems dependent on the area that they're in and the animals that they have.
yeah, yeah,
It's unfortunate,
and
but
and the government
still
here.
ultimately the same the world over, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, we're trying to shift the consciousness of the world to understand the concept of veganism and hopefully s- set their speciesist attitude. And once that happens, things like hunting will become obsolete. I hope.
Yeah. So now you told me that you told us that you went vegan in 2017, I think you said?
No, 2018 I went
2018.
vegan.
Okay.
So, but basically, how it started is that I went vegetarian for about 6 months because before I went vegan. So I stopped eating meat in November 2017, I think.
Okay.
And it wasn't really inspired by watching a documentary or something. It like I just one day I remember waking up and thinking to myself, if I'm not able to kill an animal myself, then it's not like ethically correct to pay somebody else to do it for me.
And you don't know
So
what triggered that specifically?
no, I think I had some seeds planted that were growing inside of me, and that was just the time they blossomed.
I think
I
that's
was
what
fol-
Michelle Lowe would call the sleeper effect. I don't know if you watch a lot of YouTube, but Michelle Lowe is a vegan and
so low.
YouTuber who's a psychologist, and she talks about the sleeper effect.
Is it an Irish one psychologist? I think I've seen her on Joy Carbstrong
Oh,
podcast.
yeah,
Is it
yeah. I
that
think
one?
Michelle Lowe did do a podcast with Joey a long time ago. Yeah,
I
but
think
she
that's
has a
yeah.
YouTube channel where she talks about the sleeper effect.
I'm going to check her out.
Yeah.
Um, well, the thing is, I was following Moby on Instagram,
Okay.
right? And Moby does very often posts about veganism and
Hmm.
and the effects on the environment and of animal agriculture and all of those things. And I remember when I wasn't vegan or vegetarian, I wasn't one of those people that were saying that were bringing up arguments, the typical arguments that we get when we do activism, resisting and saying, "Ah, no, this, that, the circle of life, and all of that stuff." I was like, no, I mean, vegans are right. I was just not. My rationalization was there are bigger problems in the world that we should look into before how we treat animals. But now I believe that it comes, it should start from the, from the roots. I think the root of
Yeah,
all evil is
I think that is the
how we
base,
treat
the first
animals.
problem we have
Yes, yes. So all oppression,
is based on how we treat animals.
yes, all oppression is connected. So the way we oppress animals levels up to how we treat each other. So once
Exactly.
we resolve that problem, I think it will have an immediate reflection on how we treat each other. So, but the way I was rationalizing it back then, and obviously as everybody else who was raised on an omnivore diet, I had my doubts whether or not I would get the nutrients I need on a vegan diet and all of those things that I was like completely oblivious about. So during those 6 months that I was a vegetarian, I was constantly watching documentaries about health, about earthlings, everything, getting educated, conspiracy. After like I 1 month after I spending countless hours on YouTube, so I was slowly phasing out milk and dairy and eggs and stuff. And then I remember I had like planned the day, okay, that now I'm going to go vegan on July, and it was a bit. I think it was a bit harder for me because I was living also at the time. I wasn't separated yet with my ex, and being alone, not having anybody else to hold me accountable. Maybe if I met an activist back then, that would explain to me the way I'm explaining to people on the street now what is exactly wrong with dairy and stuff. Maybe I would have taken the decision earlier, but you know, it is what it is. 6 months of vegetarianism and then veganism, the only regret is that I have about it is that I didn't do it earlier.
Yep, that's what that's what we all say. The only thing that vegans regret about going vegan is not doing it sooner,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
100%.
Yeah. And they often say, be the activist you wish you had met before you went vegan. Well, I
Yeah,
am, and a lot of people get mad at me about it, but I wish somebody had just told me flat out, you know. I
I
really
think
do.
if somebody would have hold me accountable, I wouldn't be the kind of person that would, resist and say, "Oh no, this that," because I think I know better or whatever. No, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're right, you're right, and if it makes sense that the argument has a sound logic behind it, you cannot dispute it by bringing up, those all of those fallacies about nature, about tradition, or all of these
Mhm.
things that we encounter when we do activism. So,
Yeah, that's the
what do
thing.
you
When I
mean?
found out, I didn't get mad at the messenger. I didn't kill the messenger, which a lot of people like to do.
Yeah,
I was mad at all the people who had lied to me all my life. I didn't fight
yeah,
it. I just accepted the facts, and then I was mad that I had been duped. Basically, I'd been
yeah,
lied to. You know what I
conditioned.
mean? And I have a
And
rebellious streak all my life, so then I had to rebel against the system, and I was like, "F you, I'm going vegan." you know?
yeah, yeah, it's different for everybody. Depends on how you're introduced to it and how deeply conditioned you were. You were. For me, it was a progression, and after the first year, and after I met with the activists, I became even more strict about it. At the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm going vegan for myself, but I would still socialize with people that were eating meat or doing barbecues and stuff. But now I will not. I avoid finding myself in situations where I have to face people eating dead animals.
So, have you
So
taken the liberation pledge, or you just try to avoid those
no,
situations?
I'm aware about the pledge, but I haven't taken it because
Well,
it's also
of
like
course, you've
not.
got the family to deal with
Yeah,
too, with the
it's not very
children.
practical for me to stick with it, with the children. But in family gatherings, if I ever find myself again in Greece, that they have the Easter tradition that they spike a baby lamb and they have it roasting on the fire for 3 hours, I will not definitely attend any kind of those family gatherings anymore, and I will explain why
Yeah.
when the
I wouldn't be able
when
to
that
handle that.
happens. Yeah, it's horrible, you know. The whole country smells of death on that day. And the funny thing is that they fast because they're religious, like they fast for 40 days before that Easter Sunday comes, so they abstain from eating animal products so they can, you know, enjoy the genocide more, I think. I don't know. It's appalling.
Yeah, I know you have a huge Roman Catholic population there.
In Malta they're Catholic, in Greece they're Orthodox.
Yes. Yeah, yes. Um, I had a friend whose family was from Greece, and they were heavily Catholic. Anyway, I lived in Chicago for a while, and I worked on a sandwich truck, and yeah, every time that time of year we come around, these people come with the ash cross on their head and they wouldn't eat meat, and it just occurred to me, I was like, I just gone vegan, and it just started to
Okay.
occur to me. I was like, why be a good person just one part of the year? If you
Yeah,
think this is a bad thing, why don't you just do it all the time? You know?
yeah,
So yeah, or
yeah,
just eat fish on Friday. It makes no sense. It's like, okay, it's like asking for I don't understand all that. Asking for forgiveness and then you just go back and do it again. It's
yeah. There's no logic behind it. I mean, if you're doing it and you're abstaining for it for 40 days, then there's a reason for it, right? You think it's wrong on some level.
yeah. So
So
just stop.
you have the choice to, you have the option nowadays to do it
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
There's no excuse anymore. And you know, there's no way to justify it by saying you don't know or you're ignorant. You know, it's right there in front of you. But the thing is, the psychology of the mob. If most people are doing it, most people are going to think, you know, it justifies it for them since you know it's legal. Most people are doing it, so it must be okay. We're trying to change that.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. So you already answered my question that about family and friends being vegan. But what are they like? I'm sure you're new to Malta, and I'm sure you still got friends that you have in back in Greece. Do you go back
Yeah.
and visit? Is that where your
Yes, I
kids
do.
live with their mother?
No, no, we live here in Malta.
Okay, but do
We
you ever
came
go back to
together as
visit?
family.
And if you do, how do those family and friends take it? How
Well,
do they?
at the beginning, my friends were like skeptical, like, why are you doing this? You know, are we going out to a taverna where they serve, you know, the regular meat and stuff, and you're not gonna eat any? So, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna eat any. And as I said, that the first year of me being vegan, I used to go out with them on those places that we used to go, you know, with my friends. But now this time around, if I go back, I'm not going to go attend any kind of, you know, ritual meeting that has its base around eating the corpses of animals. If you want to go somewhere with me, we can go to a nice vegan place. That's it. Or we can go have a coffee somewhere. You know.
And how do
Um,
they take that? Are they good with that? They fine
yeah,
with that?
they're okay with that. You know,
Have they tried
and
vegan food with you?
yes, yes, they've tried vegan food, and some of them are they're open to it. You know, they're just not willing to change themselves.
Yeah. And have they
And
enjoyed it?
yes, yes, I did. And I actually have like one friend who's not non-vegan. He lives here in Malta, but he's from Greece, and I always take him to vegan places and we eat, and he likes vegan food. But
Doesn't that drive you crazy though? See, I have friends like that are like, even my roommate. I take him to vegan places, and they enjoy the food. So why don't they change? It's
yes,
like, it's like, that it's good.
yeah, I don't know. It's that cognitive, you know, dissonance what we were talking about.
Yeah.
The food is good, you know, it's nutritious, you know, you won't die. I mean, and for me personally, I don't want to, you know, promote veganism for health reasons because you might eat, not take care of yourself and end up being sick and blame it on veganism. So, but for me, it's worked also as something that helped me get into the best shape of my life. So I lost like in total 20 kilos, and then I combined it with calisthenics. I
Do
learned
you
also
mind if
how
I
to.
ask? I didn't ask before. How old are you?
I'm 37.
37. So you're saying you're feeling in the best shape of your life now.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's
I
great.
I definitely, and I look the best I've ever looked in my life. Um, I it was a combination of going vegan with starting working out with calisthenics that helped me get into that shape, and also I was before I was vegan. I used to struggle with eating junk food that I couldn't just pass up. Even though I knew it was bad for me. So when I went vegan, all of those things and not having any vegan friends, I automatically eliminated. So I wasn't eating pizzas. I wasn't eating burgers or no dairy, all of that shit. So and I wasn't aware of the junk food vegan side of the world yet. So
Well,
I
when I went vegan, I did. I was going vegan for the ethics, but I was
yes,
getting into the healthy eating part of it a
yeah,
lot because
yeah,
that was 15 years ago. So that was really the main exposure I had to how to go vegan was all these health food people and raw food people
yeah.
and then as the years went by, veganism got easier and easier and all these alternatives came out and I started eating worse. you know.
Yes, yes, yes. I
I
mean, now
need to
it's
get back to eating better.
eating
That's how I
better. Yeah,
started. But it's
the whole
so
foods plant
easy
based.
now.
Yeah, it's easy. Cookies, ice creams, burgers,
It's like,
sausages,
I don't know, it's
pizzas.
a blessing and it's not. I mean, it's
Well, listen. I mean, when you put the ethics aside, right? If you're having like a balanced, healthy diet, you can afford to have these things every now and then. If your 90% or 85% of your diet looks okay,
yeah.
you can afford to have like the occasional treat every now and then. And if you don't want to look like Stallone all the year round, you can still be healthy and be eating these foods every now and then. But now it's easier, and you can be like fully a full-blown junk food vegan if you want to. But
Yeah.
for me, it was easier to eat more fruit, eat more veggies, eat more legumes, and foods that I knew that were healthier. So all of my snacks automatically became fruit instead of you know toasts with ham and cheese and stuff. So I automatically started losing weight and seeing results. And lately, I've gotten more into the looking into the macros and having the high quality plant-based sources of protein to help me build more muscles. So I also studied vegan nutrition this year. So I got like a diploma on it. Um, yeah, so it helped me personally to get into the best shape of my life. But I don't advocate for health as the primary focus to become vegan.
Yeah.
If you do it right, you will get results, and it helps. And there are documentaries, as you know, like the game changers and what the health and stuff.
Well,
But
see,
for me,
I look at it this way. A lot of people argue that, that you need to approach people with the diet aspect of veganism because, people go
yeah,
vegan for their health. It's like, no, people fall off diets all the time. You got to have
yes,
another reason. You got to have a higher reason to go vegan. You got to know the ethics
correct,
of it. Now, if people eventually think about their health and want to get healthy, that's something totally personal. And that's
yeah,
something they will do on their own if they really feel strongly enough about their health. Um, that's something you can't really instill in somebody. They have to care about themselves enough to be healthy, their own health.
correct,
Um, but when the ethics is the foundation and how people will stay vegan
yes,
because it's outside of themselves.
correct.
It's a bigger issue.
They don't
It's a
s-
bigger
they
concept.
they, they don't see their own personal well-being as justification to harm somebody else in case they get poor health, right? So we see it with these ex-vegans all the time, these influencers. But it's an unfortunate thing because they are one of those. they are the people that are like concerned about their diet, and they're trying to find the optimal perfect diet,
Yeah.
and they will try lots of different shit and experimentations on themselves, and then when they eventually get some health problems, they will blame veganism for it
Yeah.
instead of their constant dieting and going back and forth on diets.
Yeah.
Well, if you have the ethical you know factor instilled in you, and you know it's wrong, if you get some kind of health problem, you will look into it and try to find a way to correct it without harming animals.
Mhm.
There's fortunately modern medicine out there, and you can go and get blood tests, and you can get all sorts of tests and see what nutrient you're deficient in, go supplement it. That's it.
That that makes me think of another one. Again, I'm doing YouTube videos, so I watch a lot of YouTube. But
Yeah.
Goji Man, have you ever watched Goji Man?
Goji man, no.
Okay,
No,
he
is he
talks
a
a lot.
vegan?
He's a vegan nutritionist, and
Nutritionist,
he's pretty
okay.
straight shooter about all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll send you some links
Yeah,
since.
yeah, send me. I watch a lot of this guy lifting vegan logic that I like, and
Yeah, yeah,
he makes a lot of sarcastic videos that
yeah.
take the
Does little
piss out of
skits.
this
Yeah,
ex vegans. Yes, but he also makes a lot of sense, with the logic, because really into today's society, with all of the resources that we have, you don't have any kind of excuse to not be vegan.
yeah. I agree. I agree completely. So, what about like vegan alternatives? Let's say like leathers, products that we wear, or even toiletries like shampoos and makeups and stuff. Are those easy enough to find on Malta?
Yes, well, it depends where you shop. I wasn't really conscious about the cosmetics and the cleaning products and everything when I first went vegan. And then at some point it clicked on me, and I like gave away all of my perfumes, and I started looking into cruelty-free and vegan products. And there are a few places here in Malta that you can find cruelty-free products and vegan cosmetics and cleaning products. And there is also a supermarket that has Tesco products from the UK, and they are pretty affordable, and they also have the label vegan and suitable for vegans.
Well,
Cleaning
that's great.
product.
That's showing that there is some sort of demand even on
Yes,
Malta
yes, yes.
for
And
that because it is
there
available.
is it's good because you have the affordable option with these Tesco products, but you also have like the a bit more expensive organic, vegan, officially vegan certified. The bad thing with the Tesco products, like if you're fully conscious about the environment, that some of the packaging is plastic and it's not always recyclable. So I mean, but I understand we don't want to make veganism an exclusive club and make it appear like it's super difficult and super expensive to be vegan, right? So it's also what you can afford. I wouldn't expect everybody to go out and buy the most expensive cosmetic products. I mean, as long
Sure.
there are affordable options that are vegan, it's good enough.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean,
yeah.
well, the point is we have to start making it accessible if we want people to stop arguing that you can't be vegan on a
Yes.
budget or anything like that. We
No,
have to make it accessible.
it's
And as far as the
definitely
companies go, we just have to, pressure campaign them to be a little more conscious of the environment. But
yes,
I'm happy that they're just not hurting animals first, and
yes,
then we work on the rest later.
yes,
I and again, like we were talking about earlier, it all starts with how we treat the animals, and it will grow from there. You
yes, and
know.
people will become more conscious about the rest of the world's problems, the environment being one of them, and animal agriculture being a huge factor for destroying the environment. So when we
Yep.
get rid of that big problem, then we can look at improving other problems. But for me, this is the main problem that humanity is facing, and if we don't deal with it quickly, it might be the cause for our own extinction.
Yeah.
But I think it might be
Yeah. I
because
agree.
we have the resources to live a life that causes the least amount of harm to other beings. So we could potentially try and find a balance with our environment instead of destroying it relentlessly. So it's unfortunate, but we have to try our best. Those of us that are active and conscious about it, and eventually good will overpower evil at some point. Because most of these people that are
Well, if it
non-vegan,
doesn't, we'll just die off.
yes,
You know,
I I,
that's
I
the
like
thing.
I like to take the optimistic approach and think that it will not happen, because most of the people that are not vegan, they're not bad people. Most of them are decent people.
Well,
They
most of them
just
are
have
just ignorant.
ignorant and conditioned, and
Yeah.
I get this kind of response with my ex mostly, because when you've reached a certain age in your adulthood, you think you have things figured out, so you don't want some kind of vegan coming along telling you that you're doing something right, something wrong for for your whole life, basically
See, that's
eating
what
animals.
somebody else told me when I interviewed Polly about our families, and talking to our families about being vegan. She was like, we were talking about why they won't, and she was like, well, they don't want their children to come and tell them
Yes,
that they were wrong.
yes,
They don't want to hear that from their children. You know,
yes.
so
My mom is open about it. I mean, I've had a few conflicts with her as well.
yeah.
But I mean, she accommodates also when I go to visit. She makes sure that she buys the plant milk for me, and has the plant-based cheeses. And she when I make posts on Facebook,
Are
and
they still in Greece?
my mom, yes, my father has passed away a
I'm
long
sorry.
time ago. Yes, he's still in Greece. Um, I mean, we've had a few conflicts, but mostly she's accommodating. Yeah.
That's good. She learned any
Well,
vegan cooking?
yes, yes. She,
That's
she learned how
great.
she learned how to make soya mince, and she veganized a few traditional vegan dishes, but she won't go vegan, and you know I can't do anything about it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
we
thing,
just gotta
the,
keep
the
just spreading that message on the streets.
the thing is, what makes me sad, and as I said, I'm not advocating for veganism for health, but if people were taking it seriously and they considered eliminating those foods out of their diet, she has health problems, and she had a minor heart attack a few years back, and she's
Mhm.
like 70 years old now on a
Mhm.
mixture of pills to be able to function throughout the day. That makes me sad, because if
Yeah.
people were conscious about their diet and taking care of themselves, they wouldn't have to reach a certain age at 65, 70 years old and being dependent on all of these pharmaceutical products to be healthy, where they can just have a whole foods
Yeah.
plant-based diet and be healthy instead.
Yeah,
But
I
what to do?
understand. What about vegan restaurants? Are there a lot of vegan restaurants where you live, or
Yes.
any
Well,
vegan restaurants where
no,
you?
yes, there is one which is exclusively vegan. And well, I think now there are two exclusively vegan restaurants, but it's becoming more and more accessible. And to be honest, now I think there are three, because there's also a food kiosk, sorry, a food truck that is vegan, that has opened recently. So yeah,
Awesome.
it's becoming more and more accessible, and they have the Beyond burgers and the Beyond sausages here, and they have like some Lebanese restaurants. They have the falafels, that are vegan. They have the Beyond hot dog that they veganize. So it's becoming easy. We have options. It's
Yeah.
it's easy. It's easy to be vegan and to have like you just need to know the places that have vegan options, right? But it's becoming more and more accessible, and yeah, I think even in Malta, I've seen the difference in within like 2 years' time. When I first started going out, I was obviously socializing with my ex and my non-vegan friends at the time. So there were instances where I would have like pizza with no cheese, or just plain pasta with tomato sauce and the
Now,
chips.
have you found this is weird for me? After I went vegan and I started to realize that having pizza with no cheese was an option.
Yeah,
which was weird to me because I used
Yeah,
to be a huge cheese lover. Um, but I thought there's no way I bother with pizza anymore because you can't, you got to have cheese. Well, I finally tried it, and have you found I actually like pizza without cheese? Not even like
yes,
I like it better than with even the vegan
the
cheese.
vegan cheese. Yeah,
It's like your taste buds change. It's like, wow,
yes,
this is really good without cheese.
yes. Well, I when I have pizza nowadays, I have it with the vegan cheese, but I don't mind it without vegan cheese.
Yeah,
Just,
same here,
just,
same here.
just the toppings.
It also has to do with what vegan cheese they're using because
Yes,
sometimes some of them are not good.
some of them they're crappy. Yeah,
Yeah,
mm,
and some of them don't melt that well on
yeah,
cheeses or on I'm sorry, pizzas.
yeah.
It has to do with the brand. I mean, as vegans, we're honest about that. You know, there are some crappy vegan cheeses. You just got to keep trying. They are getting better. New brands are coming out. You just got to keep trying.
And cheese
Um,
is not an excuse to continue to hurt animals, right? So,
exactly, exactly. Because vegan
and
pizza without cheese is really good.
and that excuse that you know cheese is an addictive substance and stuff, and people get hooked on it and they can't give it up.
Oh,
Well,
you're talking about quesomorphines?
yes,
That's a BS excuse. It does. It's not going to make you rob a store or rob a bank. It's not an addiction like they say it is. It's not
yes.
like
I mean,
morphine or something
when
like
you
that
when
where
you
you're going to like go and sell your butt on the streets so you
yeah,
can
yeah,
buy
yeah,
some cheese. You're not going to do that, you
yeah,
know.
or the insane cravings,
Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to get the cold sweats because you
yeah,
didn't get cheese on your pizza.
yes. And what the dairy industry, I mean, what annoys me with the dairy industry that it's arguably worse than the meat industry
Oh
because
yeah. Oh yeah.
these
Far
beings
worse.
are these beings are being perpetually raped until they can't, and have their babies stolen from them until they
Yeah.
can't produce any milk. So their suffering lasts longer than those that are being grown for meat.
Yeah, over and over again until they can't take it anymore. Their bodies give out, and then they go to the same place as the other cows that get slaughtered. So, and that's the thanks we give them for all that.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
yeah,
the dairy industry is far far worse than the meat industry, and that's when you do cubes or anything like that, and people will see, oh, I'm vegetarian. I love what you're
yeah,
doing, and oh, you're the person I want to talk to.
yeah, yeah.
Because did you know the dairy and egg industries are far worse
And
than
what's
just
the
eating
name?
meat?
Paul Basir was saying that the vegetarians are actually cancer for the for the animal rights movement because they have like also this attitude that I'm doing enough for the animals.
No, I've said that many times. It's really the bane of my existence is a vegetarian. Or I've run into like going to the women's march and some of the excuses you hear defending dairy is just insane to me coming from a feminist, a woman. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, this is what real feminists are vegan. That's my
Yes.
T-shirt.
That's
Real
amazing.
feminists are vegan because
Yes.
you cannot ask for your own rights if you're out there saying it's okay to commodify the body of another female just because
Yeah.
she's another species. But I've
And
heard that
also
I
the
had some
spec-
women say to me, well, we got to worry about our rights first. No, you've got it wrong. You need to worry about the fact this is where your rights violations comes from is how we
yes.
treat other animals.
And
You know.
we exploit their reproductive system and also the bulls, right? Also males are being
Yeah,
exploited
they
very much.
they ejaculate them and against their will and put an electric prod up their anus
Yeah.
and
Yeah. It's
to
sick.
make them ejaculate. I mean, they're violated as well. And then when they're born into the males are born into the dairy industry, they're killed right away
Yes.
or put into a little bitty crate so they can be made veal in a few months. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Even men should be upset about this,
Yes. Yeah.
So,
It's messed up, really. And the the things, I mean, the things that uh, especially activists, being vegans in a non-vegan world, if we take the all of these into heart, we think we'll go insane, because there's so much suffering going on in the world with the animals, and
Yeah,
if you take it to heart, I think you will lose your shit. So it's
true.
important that we try, and realize that we're doing our best for the animals and being active, and we're not participating in this suffering anymore. But you really, if you look into it, and I think that should fuel the frustration and the anger to be more vocal and active for the animals, because we need to find ways to make this an issue, a big issue, and cause some disruption in people's everyday lives. And that's why it's important to make it a social rights movement first, instead of a diet fad, or
Yeah,
or a fashion. It's important that it's recognized as a movement for animals, instead of a social, kind of hip thing of the new age.
yeah, I agree. You got to understand fundamentally why you're doing it. You
If
know,
it's hard, you think it's hard for you, try
imagine
being
how
in the
hard it
place
is
of
for
an
them.
animal. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what
exactly.
what we advocate, like try to see it from the victim's point of view.
Yeah. So what are the you already said it's easy to be vegan there. If you want to be vegan, it's easy to do it. But what
Yes.
are your struggles there?
Um, in terms of the practical things with food and all of that, nothing. The most struggle I have as a vegan is the interaction with non-vegans, and particularly with my kids not being vegan when they ask to have milk, cow's milk and stuff. That's my biggest struggle. It's an
Sure.
emotional struggle, not a practical thing on how I'm going to get my protein, or any kind of that sort. No, it's easy. When it comes to shopping, and when it comes to going out, and when it comes to getting my cosmetics, nothing. It's easy. And having, like, I also now made a few vegan friends here, and there's a community of vegans. So no, the only thing that frustrates me is that, but I've learned to deal with it. We discussed how before, like, I'm choosing my battles, so I'm not placing all of my attention to those individuals, and but I love them, but I understand that it's, they're young and it's not their choice. And I
So
also
basically the
read this book.
struggle is just keeping your sanity sometimes.
Yes, yes, that's a struggle, and
I think we
I,
can all identify with that.
I'm doing some work, taking care of myself, doing some meditation, trying to be mindful, doing some reading, some self improvement. I also read this book, Dystopia, which is a
Yep.
good a
Yeah,
good
I have
read
that book too.
a good read for people that are struggling with dealing with non-vegans.
Yeah.
So that helped me a lot, to put some perspective on how to be able to mentally deal with those struggles. And also a nice read for, you know not the mental aspect, just to realize how everything is connected, is the World Peace Diet. I don't know if you know about it.
Yeah, I know I've actually met Will Tuttle, so
Ah, okay, okay. I
actually,
heard I
hold on, just a second. Hold on.
I heard the audio version of the book,
Here we go. See?
World Peace Diet.
Yeah.
The audio version is great too, because he plays the piano, and he has all of those birds, and the animals singing when he does the interludes between the chapters. So it's a nice read, and something that I would recommend to somebody who's not vegan to read. Just to get the whole perspective of how everything is interconnected.
Yeah. Um so how do people view animal rights where you live? Not just veganism, but animal rights. How do they view that?
There are a few instances, for example, where people have protested the horse carriages, which is like a popular tradition here in Malta.
I think it's in pretty much any city.
Yeah,
We have it here in Cincinnati as well.
and they were protesting that the horses were being forced to work in extreme temperatures in the summer. We get it gets very hot here in the summer,
Yeah.
and we had a few instances where horses died on the carriage, and that caused an outburst. I would say people are not very mindful about animal rights. That's my general idea, because of what you mentioned with the hunting and yeah, the horse carriages, and then the rabbits, and they have the rabbit farm with these poor rabbits that are being slaughtered. I would say they are pretty much species more than same as any other European country. What frustrates me sometimes it's when you have like people protesting, for example, the horse carriages that are not vegan, and then when you try to explain to them, the thing you're protesting about is connected to what you're going home and having as your dinner, and they don't get it.
Yep, I've actually been in that situation. We've protested the carriages here, and I'll be right next to a person who's not vegan, and I'm like, do you understand? You're picking and choosing who you care about, you know?
Yes, and actually, what you're participating is much worse than what you're protesting about.
Yep. So, what would you say with all the forms of activism that you do? What would you say is your favorite form of activism?
I like the cube a lot.
Okay.
I like the Cube of Truth. It has like a certain format. It's structured. It's disciplined. It's serious. You feel like you're participating in a serious event, and because it has that kind of like structure and discipline, I think I like it the most. But I like to be creative. I also have tried to do activism on my own, going out on the street, interviewing people, and doing some videos on YouTube as well, and that kind of thing.
Oh, you've done some videos on YouTube?
Yeah, I've done a few videos, but
You have to send me a link. I'll check them out.
yeah, I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link. Um, but I'm just starting out with my channel, and it's not where I want it to be yet.
I'm
But
a new channel as well. I have less than 150 subscribers, but this series that I'm doing seems to be getting good reception. So I'm all for supporting
yeah,
other
yeah,
activists and
of
other
course.
channels, and yeah.
I mean, it's my I found purpose through it in life, because I was always like conscious about being more active and doing more just to help make this world a better place for my children. And when I wasn't vegan, I had the same kind of mentality, like internally. I wanted to do something to make this world a better place, but I wasn't conscious of veganism, and the way we treat animals is such an integral part of the things we have to fix. So that's why I made it. It's my purpose. And it's something I want to do full time eventually. Um, along with other stuff, like I'm also doing some things related to fitness with calisthenics and stuff. But I work in private aviation now. I work for the travel department of a private airline here in Malta. This is like my profession, what I studied. But I want to eventually manage to do animal rights and fitness related my full time occupation.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So, if a vegan visits where you live, where
hmm
should they go? That doesn't have to be a restaurant. Okay. Where should they go? What is your favorite vegan dish that they should try? And how would they get involved in the local vegan community?
Okay. So if a vegan comes here, I would tell them to visit the local animal sanctuary, which is like a small sanctuary here, and the people that run it are friends of mine. And it's a small sanctuary, and they have they have two pigs and a few rabbits and a duck and a rooster. But it's a nice attempt, and I hope they are going to manage keep it and to sustain it, because it's not an easy job to have an animal sanctuary, and it's run by
Yeah,
two people.
especially during the pandemic, and with you being
And
a big tourist area, that takes away a
yes,
lot of
and
support.
they need also financial support, and it's a lot of work. But I would suggest that they visit the animal sanctuary, because it's it's run by vegan people, and it's that it's a true sanctuary for animals, not like dog sanctuaries where.
And if you would like, I could leave a link to them to find them on their social media if you
Yeah,
want.
yeah, I will send you afterwards when we finish on Messenger my channel, and also the sanctuaries link.
Yeah, I'll include
Uh,
that. I'll
there.
include all your information. Anything you want me to include will be below the video for anybody to
Okay,
find.
okay, okay, great. Um, then there's the restaurant as for food, where to eat vegan food. I would suggest that they visit the restaurant Balance Bowl, which is
Balance
in
ball.
Balance Bowl. It's the one of the vegan restaurants that I mentioned in Xira.
Okay.
Um, well, in terms of the dishes, there's not something traditionally, the traditional dish here is the rabbit, but there's no vegan version of that. So the vegan cuisine here, they have like the standard, like vegan burgers, vegan sausages, and that sort. But that place Balance Bowl, I think, will be the best option for anybody who visits.
Okay.
And then just do the main stuff. Go to the beach, enjoy the sun, enjoy Malta, and come in the summer.
Great. Now, how do they get involved with the local vegan community?
Ah, yes, and the local vegan community. Well, you can reach out to the local chapter of AV, Anonymous for the Voiceless Malta, Valetta, or you can contact the Animal Liberation Malta group, the people on the Animal Liberation Malta. Those are the main groups of activists here on the island. So, and they are open groups on Facebook. So if you find them there and you contact them, somebody will reach out to you. And obviously myself. If any vegan comes from abroad and wants to reach out to another vegan activist, they can always reach out to me. I'm happy to meet other people from other countries that are vegan.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay. Finally, I want to ask you, where would you like to visit one day and learn about veganism there?
Yeah, one of the places that I would like to visit, that I have actually on my list, is Israel, Tel Aviv,
Tel
because I
Aviv?
know, yes, because I know they have like a big vegan community there in
Sure.
Israel,
In Israel, yeah.
and also in Berlin, because Berlin is one of the most friendly cities of Europe. So those are the two places that I would like to visit when I get the chance. And then
That is now
obviously,
the second time those two places have been requested. So,
second time, okay. Yeah, I mean, I know that there's also a big community in California, I think, in the US, but I would, focus on places that are closer to me right now, like the two places in Europe. And at some point, I would like to travel more and get to experience veganism in other places of the world. But for now, those are my two, highlights that I intend to travel to when I get the chance.
yeah, and neither one of those are too far from you.
Yeah, yeah, they're
So,
close. They're close, and with direct flights from here, so
I
yeah,
think
it's
you're
not.
even closer to Israel. So,
Yeah, yeah, we're close to Israel. The
yeah.
thing is, now we have like the disruptions with the travels and everything, and the COVID and the testing and the vaccines and stuff. So I don't know
Yeah.
yet how everything is going to pan out. I think maybe traveling for 2021 for leisure, for tourism, I don't know. But we're planning to go to Greece in the summer, because it's been like a year and a half that I haven't been in Greece. So I will
Wow.
definitely spend a month in Greece this summer. And because they've been in lockdown for a long time, but I think this
It's
summer
like
they
they're
will.
so close yet so far away.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I
Eventually,
haven't had a vacation in 2 years because of
I
this.
think eventually they will open up this summer.
Yeah.
And there are activist groups in Athens that have like they are very active and they have a big group of people that participate in their events.
Wonderful.
And I am friends with them, and I am part of the groups, but I haven't never actually done activism in Greece. So I've only done activism in Malta and speaking English. So I haven't done an activism in Greece speaking my mother, my mother
Your
tongue,
native native language, yeah.
my native language. So it will be a nice experience for me and a weird transition to start using all of those terms in Greek. But I want to do it, and I want to meet other vegans and vegan activists. So I would definitely, when I go in the summer, participate in a few events. They don't have the local chapter of AV there. They have another organization called Liber Animal that I'm part of. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, you know what? We've been talking for just over an hour, and that's all my questions. So
Okay,
I'd like
great.
to ask you before we say goodbye, if there's anything else you want to say to anybody about being vegan in Malta before we go.
Um, yeah, but basically we covered it. I think nowadays it's become easy to be vegan in Malta. All of the supermarkets have vegan options. You have a lot of places where you can buy veg and fruit and veg. There are like these also traditional vegetable trucks that are all over the island that are nice, and they're all in its neighborhood. You find one or two. So go vegan. Good for you, good for the animals, good for the environment, and easy. That's it. That's my message.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you have a wonderful activist community there, and
Yeah,
even if it's small,
yeah.
you
It's small,
guys
but it's
are
good.
doing some big things there, and
Yeah,
that's all you got to do is just keep at it, keep spreading the word, keep planting the seeds.
yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me, and I'm happy that I'm doing my part here, and I'm trying to do my best as much as I can to help. Do my part to make this world a bit of a better place.
The animals appreciate that. We appreciate that. So
Thank you.
thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. I know it's getting late for you, so
Yeah, yeah, and I have to work in the morning, but it's okay. I enjoyed it. I will send you the links for there. Maybe you can post some of these for the local organizations, in Malta.
most definitely will do that.
I will give you my channel and also my contact on Facebook. So anybody who finds themselves here in Malta and wants to meet with some local activists, they can reach out.
I will put all that down below for everybody to find.
Okay, great.
All right. You have a
Thank
great
you.
night, okay?
Thank you. You too. You
Take
have
care.
a nice afternoon.
Yeah,
Bye
thank you.
bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. That was a very nice conversation. I enjoyed that. Thank you so much, Christus. Um, I always enjoy meeting these people, these individuals from all over the world. Individual stories are so interesting. How much we actually have in common, um, no matter where we are, and especially as vegans and animal rights activists. But we just got to keep fighting the good fight, right? All right, guys. I hope you will join me next Wednesday for my next guest. If you want to know who that is, come and see. Thank you. Love ya. Bye.